wish. I never got that call. Did you get that call?
No.
If Chick-fil-A called me right now, I would have to answer the phone with the swiftness, baby.
Nah,
Well,
it ain't that good.
you want to sponsor? Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you. All right, here we go. And five, four, three, two, and one. There we go. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome Home Podcast. I'm your host, Faves Garnet, and Joe Bubba Q.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
And in today's episode, we are coming upon SEC Media Days. If you're listening live, the SEC Media Days is tomorrow on Tuesday, the 21st. And then if you're listening on Tuesday, it is today. It is today that Shane Beamer
Mm-hmm.
takes to the stage in Tampa this year, and to Tampa, and talks some Gamecock football. And the guys representing South Carolina, Peyton Williams, Nick Harbor, and Lenore Sellers. So three great representatives for the Gamecocks as they take the stage for SEC Media Days in 2026 down in Tampa. And then next
Mm-hmm.
year, it will once again be back in Nashville, as Greg Sankey already said to the media today. So, really
And I think we're
good
gonna. I
stuff
want to
there.
attend that one. That's the next one
Yeah,
I want to attend, bro. I want to attend that. I think next year we're gonna figure that out. We're gonna get there.
it's
Take the time off. We're gonna do that.
things are moving in the direction that we want them in. We could make that happen. Since we last spoke, obviously Gamecock MLB draft took place. A lot of things happened in that time period. We saw a lot of guys get hear their name called, and some guys that didn't hear the name called too late, anyways, which is very interesting stuff. And Gamecock women's basketball, huge headline broke out. I believe it was on Thursday of last week, as Maddie McDaniel announced that she was stepping away from the program to focus on her mental health. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're true believers in, hey, focus on
Yeah.
yourself. And it's one of those things. So we'll see how that ultimately plays out. And yeah, it's serious, man. It's very, very serious. And how about the Russell House
Shout out to
getting
Don
a
though, and shout
Grouchos?
out to Don too.
Yeah,
Shout out
yeah,
to Don. You got to
yeah.
shout Don out on that because what Don has done when it comes to making everybody's all right, making sure they're mentally where they need to be, all those different things. I mean, you can't beat a coach like that, bro. You can't beat a coach like that.
No,
You
no,
really
not
genuinely
at all.
can't.
Not at all. So we'll talk about that more. And the Russell House, they got an announcement that they are adding Groucho's Deli to the great lineup of restaurants in the Russell House. Which, look, I mean, it's tough to bring back, Marble Slab they used to have, and these other spots they used to have, and it's not like that. But hey, adding Groucho's to the lineup, not a bad way of doing things. Not a bad way at all. So shout out to Russell House for adding the old Grouchos to the cuisine that they got going on there.
Smart move.
Smart move, very very smart move. No better way of keeping a local, to be honest with you. No better way of keeping a local because Grouchos started in South Carolina. So for those who didn't know that, so Q, let's go ahead. We're going to take it into the MLB draft, and the Gamecocks names came and gone. A lot of people thought that certain names would be called. Thankfully, that wasn't the case for some of them until late. But we'll go ahead and start early, where Minnesota transfer Will Whelan from Minnesota transfer, like I said, heard his name called in the 13th round to the Texas Rangers. Something that we were,
Mm-hmm.
expecting. Like it's one of those things. Like, hey, it's probably a thing he may not make it to campus, right? It's not a full thing he's going to make it to campus. So that happened. And then you got Miguel Huguez from the transfer from Maryland. Heard his name in the 14th round to Baltimore. And then Amp Phillips, our very own Amp Phillips, went to the 15th round to the Tampa Bay Rays. Ethan Sutton, 16th round to the LA Dodgers. And then Connor Schaus, 12th round to the Seattle Mariners, which out of all these names, Q, that we know for sure, obviously Connor Schaus to the Seattle Mariners, that's more than likely not happening. He's already returning to campus. And Ethan Sutton is a name we keep hearing that is going to more than likely return to make it to the Gamecocks, make it on campus. So a
Yeah.
lot really good names there. And I mean, it probably is best case scenario, man. Q, how this went for the Gamecocks with the MLB draft because there were some names, man, like you didn't know how it was going to go, and then they just kept sitting back, and felt people kept falling back. Best case scenario for the Gamecocks, what do you think about the MLB draft and how it played out for South Carolina and Kevin Schnall going into the 2027 season?
I mean, it was solid, bro. It was a great thing for them. Your top overall high school prospect is coming to school as opposed to going, he didn't get drafted, but we knew after a certain round, like the likelihood of him coming back started becoming more and more realistic, especially with NIL. NIL is a big ordeal with this situation. And so when you're looking at this, you got to understand the budget that Kevin has, which once again, the numbers haven't come out yet, but I'm hearing we're once again a top 10 budget for baseball, which it should always be because that is where we are a blue blood when it comes to that sport, that specific sport. You look at South Carolina as a blue blood because of the natties, because of the countless College World Series we've been to, the countless championships we have, the countless times we've been in the tournament. Like we were running into the tournament year after year, time after time, and it's time to get back to that. That's our origin. That's well written. That is in history. South Carolina is historically a top tier program, and Kevin understands that. And so with Kevin's way of doing things, now we're going to 2027 season. Miguel also, not Maryland, he's Mercer. He's Mercer's pitcher.
Mercer, that's right.
And so with him gone, I'm pretty sure he's gone. And another one, Tyler Pitts, Tyler Pitts shocked me. It shocked me for the reason being of I felt like if he was going straight to the draft, or if he was going to sign in the draft, because he got a UDFA signing. So I think it was kind of shocking he even committed. I feel like because a lot of people were saying he planned to go pro anyways, but he made it seem like, hey, I'm looking at coming back to school. I'm looking at finishing South Carolina, which if I'm looking at it, I probably would have come back strictly on the hinges of I could literally get drafted next year. I could literally raise my stock, do what I need to do, and get drafted next year. He must have really wanted to play pro ball. Let's just be real. I think Miguel really wanted to play pro ball. I think that's just where he was with it. Some guys just want to go play pro ball, minor leagues. But because of the NIL situations, especially at a lot of these schools, I am thoroughly, I like to use the word thoroughly on this one. I am thoroughly under the impression that some of these guys are just going to come back to school because there's more money to make here than it is in the minor leagues. That's just how the game is played now, which I think is better for both sides. It makes college baseball way more competitive. It makes it 20 times more electric. It brings the ratings up once again. And for MLB, you're not losing kids within the farm league. Kids are not drowning out within the farm league.
Right.
An example would be the kid that committed to us from Charleston, PJ. Can't remember his last name. He was a top tier draft pick, but you haven't heard about PJ in a long time. And could you imagine what PJ could have done if he would came to the school? Not granted, he would have been under one of the worst coaches this side of the Mississippi. I mean, that guy's terrible. That guy's god awful. You couldn't pay me $1,000 to mention his name anymore. But what I will say is that now you're going to see a lot more of those kids make it into school. And you're going to see a lot more competitive things. Now, the 35 rule is going to be interesting. That's interesting in my book. 35 rule is really interesting. I wonder how that's going to play out. I think that's going to change soon because you're not going to be able to field true competitive rosters because you're going to need more arms nowadays. The way the ball's being hit, the way games are being played. I mean, my God, didn't we have like a 35-run situation last year or something like that? Like you're going to have some arms, bro. So that's what I'm saying. You're going to need these guys to come back, and it makes it more competitive, folks. That's all I really can tell you. You want competitive baseball. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You want the competitive game. You want, and now You want South Carolina to get to that point. The goal is South Carolina to get to that point. And mentioning them, Stuart Lake. Stuart Lake's back.
Yes.
Stuart Lake's back. That is someone that's key to South Carolina. When you think of South Carolina baseball, you think Stuart Lake. What they say, if you know, you know. Stuart Lake is integral, folks, integral in bringing him back. And I think Kevin made an outstanding hire by doing that, bro. Having Stuart in your program is only going to make your program better.
Yeah, I mean, he was around. I mean, Stuart Lake with his obviously part of the national runner-up in 2002, right, and won the East a few times, right, 3 out of 4 years, I believe, with South Carolina. So, I mean, he's been there, done that kind of thing, right? He's been there, done that. So it's great against Stuart Lake. I loved his insight during the broadcast. I'm gonna thoroughly miss that, which we will, obviously not get anymore with him being back on with the program. That's to be expected, but. I mean, going back to your point about MLB draft, NIL, and everything else these days, this is different game, man. We saw just this past year, right? We talk about parity in college athletics and college football, right? But good Lord, did you ever see the parity in college baseball this past year? I mean, we saw some big names get knocked down in regional play, man. A lot of big names. So it's interesting to me that MLB teams are now having to fight colleges to sign kids, which is this seems like something out of the unordinary, something that we're not used to. And I know damn well, the major league teams aren't used to this. They're like, hey, we're actually battling South Carolina to get this kid on, with us in the minors. Like, it's crazy that it's reached that point, but that is the pinnacle of college athletics where we are now. And not to say that's a bad thing. I think that's one of the better things about college baseball, college athletics, to be real with you. But it brings some really interesting things up. Q, moving up a little bit more, a recent signee, you're not really signing yet. He signed actually with Wake Forest, but Ethan Bass, a shortstop, one of the top shortstops out of Illinois, one of the top players out of Illinois, out of this past class. He's asking for out of his national letter of intent. And
he's going to get it.
Interesting one.
He's going to get it.
He's going to get it. And that's one to watch for South Carolina. If I'm a Gamecock fan, I'm watching this kid, Ethan Bass, which, by the way, watch the pop off his bat. He's got a serious pop in that bat. And I'm excited to see what happens with this, potentially him coming to South Carolina. If I was a betting man, I'd probably go to write his name down somewhere. I'm like, hey, this is one to really, really watch here. So it's a potential land at South Carolina. So
he's actually on campus. He's actually on campus.
All right, so there you go. So
he's on campus. So
on campus now. Like I said, if I was a betting man, I would probably go ahead and raise the stakes on that one. So that's good. That's good with Ethan Bass, and I'd really like to see really how Shenault ends this thing, because he's not done. I mean, I think this transfer class is not quite over with yet.
No,
his group's not quite done
He's
yet.
got a lot of young talent infused with the older talent that he's bringing in. So he's setting the foundation. So especially if he's able to bring Bass and you're bringing him in, and you've got a couple guys that you have there with the catcher. I keep forgetting how to say his name, but he was elite bat, and elite catching ability. They said he's out of his stance. He's one of the top arms out of his stance. So the throwdown is going to be interesting to see. He could really compete for a starting position. Bass could start compete for a starting position as well. There's just so much. There's just so much there. There's just so much talent. But he's also got the young talent infused with the older talent, which to me that helps out tremendously, because then you're not going to Porter every year having to get 20, 25 guys. You're not like flipping your whole roster upside down. You're just trying to pluck who you need, get as much, firepower out of there, and you go from there and help grow your talent. Because if he does that, he's going to have the resources to do it. He's going to have better resources than he had at Coastal. He understands that at the end of the day, people can sit there and be like, he left his alma mater. Does he have the true, factor of being there for the, I'm not trying to hear none of that. You have to play a game the way it's played now. if he can have the resources he has to bring in talent while developing the talent he wants to, because he's a catcher by trade, folks. By trade, he is a catcher. So if he's able to do these different type of things, get these things going, well, hell, FG, now we got us a squad. The way I look at the squad right now after the MLB draft, one, he's put together an elite staff. Let me start there. This staff is elite.
It is.
Elite.
It is.
But with the staff he's put together, both on and off field, and on top of the talent he's brought in, I see a regional. I see us getting a 2 or 3 slot, going into a regional. And if we get like the 2 or 3 slot, I would hate to be that hosting slot, because I know there's going to be those hosting teams that are like, damn, we got Carolina in there. I don't know if we really want to play Carolina at this point. I really don't know if we really need to play them. Like, I don't want to play them right now.
Well, I'll tell you, Q, I'm about to share my screen here in a second. The way too early 2027 for Omaha is already out. And I have not seen South Carolina's logo on one of these in a while. But that is actually where we're at, guys. As I share my screen here, it's something we haven't seen in like I said, in a while. But I mean, here you go in all its glory, man. I mean, this to give you an idea. The Gamecocks are in here with Jack. Jack has the Gamecocks in his Omaha 8, along with SoCal, Texas, Ohio State, LSU, Troy, Georgia, and Arkansas, which, like I said, Q, I know these are all early, the whole early projections, yada, yada, yada. It's like, hey, I can see this team in there. It's just, it's a breath of fresh air to even see us remotely in a conversation. They'd even be in a thought process like, hey, Kevin Schnall's building something at South Carolina. Am I saying Omaha? No, I'm not saying Omaha. I'm not there yet. I'm not nowhere near that. Am I at regional play where Q is at postseason play? Absolutely. And we got to see how
I just need
these
postseason
pieces
play
come together. That's it. We got to see how these these puzzle pieces come together in the offseason. And I'll give you a better thought process where I'm at that time after I truly see the guys scrimmage and communicate and see what the staff is saying and really get a better idea of these things. I mean, Sinbel is the same way. He's not going to go ahead and guarantee something right now. He needs to see it first. And
we just got to see who's there, like who signs on and who's going to make it to campus. And once we get a full fledged of that, we bring Sin on. Sin's going to let you know, hey, this is what this team looking. But right now, when you look at this team, and what they have and what they're doing, hey, fam, I don't see why postseason play is out of question. Right. Postseason play should not be out of question. Postseason play should be there. That's where we need to be. That's what we're looking at.
Right. Yeah, that's I like it. I like it a lot. Now, here, let's go ahead and we're going to take it back to women's basketball. Talk more about Maddie McDaniel in that situation because it's something that we need to speak about, right? Obviously, despite Maddie stepping away, we also need to talk about what that means for the Gamecocks. What that could potentially mean there. And let's go ahead. I'm going to read. Go ahead. We're going to read actually her note to South Carolina, to the fans and everybody else. She said, in this post, every athlete knows that mental strength is as valuable as their physical strength. It just doesn't announce itself in the same way when it needs attention. It doesn't feel like an ankle sprain or a bruise that's harder to put your finger on. Still, it's time for me to acknowledge it. I tried to just keep going, but right now I'm not giving my coaches, my teammates, and the fams the version of myself that they deserve. So I've decided to step away from the team to focus on my mental and emotional well-being to get back to my best self on all levels. It is the strongest thing I can think of to do because of what being part of Gamecock women's basketball means to me. I appreciate everyone who has supported me, and I will be working hard to get back to being the person who has earned that. Strong stuff there, Cube. The ultimate question is now, where do the Gamecocks go from here? What is the step? Where are they going to go?
Well, first off, I mean, Maddie, we're with you. Maddie, you are Gamecock Nation. Gamecock Nation has your back. Take your time, do what you need to do, reach out if you need anything. And I mean, the Gamecocks are gonna it's business as usual, man. Um, Gotti can play guard. Jersey can play point guard. Tessa was a point guard coming out of school, high school. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do it. I think now there's a lot more attention to detail. Now that you've taken Raven out of the factor, there's a lot more attention to detail. So how are you going to get the ball across the line when you play a defense like Texas, who loves to press the entire game? How are you guys going to focus on limiting the turnovers? Because I think that is something Raven masked a lot of for you. I think it got a little sloppy last year, but I think she masked a lot of that. But I think Don's got a plan. Don's always got a plan. It's different if we were in the middle of the season and Don had to make an adjustment like that, as opposed to, she's in the off season. Mm-hmm. Don doesn't have to worry about a game until November.
Correct.
So she's got some time to get this adjusted and get this corrected. And so with the 2026-2027 season coming upon us with that, Don's got time. Don's going to figure it out. That's the Dawn way. She's always going to figure it out. She made I don't think people understand this. So let me people always want to talk about how Dawn's been blown out in 2 straight natties. There are people who haven't even made it to 2 straight natties here recently. I'm looking at you, Gino. I'm literally looking dead at you, Gino. Dead at you. You distracted the team more than I thought would happen from what you did, because you're a punk. You're an old punk at that. Because what you did to Don, there's not one male you would do that to. There's not one man you would have tried that with. You know that, and I know that. It was lame. UConn fans are lame for being okay with it. His best assistant coach left. And if you don't think that had something to do with it, if anyone that actually saw the assistant coach after the situation and how she reacted to it, you knew then it was a problem. Gino is a punk. And Gino hasn't gone back to back. Don also has dealt with injuries. Chloe Kitts was out last year.
She was.
That was one of your leaders. She was out. You lost Ashley Watkins. A lot of that stuff that was going on in the paint would not be happening when Ashley was in the paint. But now both are back. Both of them are back. Both of them. Yeah. So we're going to see what happens this year. Let's see what happens this year. And also the girl from France is a point guard, if I'm not mistaken. So there's options on the team, but to say I'm worried, nah.
No, not at all. No. Not at all. No. I think the thing about it is that South Carolina has a lot of things and with a lot of time to figure out. And that's the beautiful thing about it. As Q, you've already said, not getting ready for a game tomorrow, not getting ready again for a game next week, not getting ready for a game in the next 3 months. It's just Dawn's got time to figure this thing out. And, our thoughts and, prayers, of course, go out to Maddie McDaniel as she figures this thing out, just like we did with, with Ashley Watkins. I mean, the same thing.
Same thing, man. Same thing. And Gamecock Nation going to be right here, open arms, making sure you're good.
That's right. Now, taking it to football, obviously, nothing too crazy has happened since we last spoke about way things are going. But like I said, South Carolina takes to the stage tomorrow in Tampa for SEC Media Days as Lenora Sellers, Nick Harbor, and Peyton Williams will preview the 2026 season for the Gamecocks. My question, Q, is will 4-8 come up as many times as it does come up with our local media on certain things? Will it come up as many times, or will it come up less during this? What do you think? How many times will they talk about it?
We're talking less. We're 100% talking less. I think a lot of people's eyes are on Dylan, his health, Peak's health. Which let me break a few things down to you guys. Let me break this down holistically, because somebody mentioned before, hey, Dylan being a prima donna.
Wait, what?
I'm going to address this just one time on air, and this is the last time I'm going to address this when it comes to Dylan Stewart. When we're talking Dylan Stewart, I'm no longer talking anything of feelings anymore. I'm just going to talk strictly facts. I'm going to talk facts about Dylan Stewart. Ohio State has offered north of $3 million every single year Dylan has been in school for Dylan to come to their school. Dylan has never gone to the university or Ohio State University. He's never gone there. Dylan Stewart messed up his back last year. Really bad in the Oklahoma game. It's pretty bad. Bad enough to the point where he could have sat the rest of the year. And it 110% could have been justified. Dylan Stewart played in every game except for, I want to say, Coastals. I think he rested Coastals. But he played in every other game. Alabama was after that Oklahoma game, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I believe that's correct, yeah.
And that was when Dylan was getting sacks and forcing fumbles. He even played in that Clemson game, that meaningless Clemson game. We were already 4-7 at the time. Played a couple snaps. Matter of fact, Blake Miller needs to thank Dylan, because had Dylan not stepped on that field, probably wouldn't have got drafted where you were, bro. People drafted because they thought you did something with Dylan. But now the real reports are coming out. Dylan's ahead of schedule. Peak is ahead of schedule. Both are ahead of schedule. Dylan Stewart chose to come back to Carolina again for his junior year when plenty of other teams were offering it.
Let's not forget that he was a part of the deal with Sterling Lucas.
Correct. That didn't happen. Dylan Stewart is beyond a loyalist in this situation. I just want the record to reflect that he's beyond a loyalist. A lot of people were upset with how Dylan reacted on the field last year. Well, when you're used to winning, when winning is a thing for you, you don't like losing, especially the dumb ways we were losing last year, i.e. Missouri, LSU, Bama, Texas A&M. Those 4 games alone, folks, those 4 games alone were stupidity on the offensive side of the ball. You want to sit there and say, well, why Dylan reacted the way he reacted? Why do you think he did? The defense did everything they could to keep those boys in the game, and the offense screwed it up every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Time of possession in the second half is, I don't even want to talk about it, honestly. We've been there, done that. Let's not really get back to it. Yeah, Q, my biggest thing is when, our University of South Carolina is known for having, great doctors involved through all things, right? Obviously, we can't forget about the Matt Rowland situation. Remember that? Committed to South Carolina, had the surgery done, and then off to, was it Virginia Tech, Florida, wherever he ultimately landed? I don't even remember that, but
Florida.
Yeah, and then I think they ended up at Virginia Tech. The thing about it to me is that people question medical practices done by the University of South Carolina and things that happen behind the scenes, and it blows my mind. And to that, I say, you're a couch coach. You don't know what's going on. I mean, I don't truly know what's going on. I mean, we hear hints of things, sure, but I mean, if Shane's best move was to have him have surgery back in January or right after the season was over, that would have been done, guys. That would have been handled. And I'll be damned if you think that you're going to sit up here and you think that Dylan Stewart is just waiting until the season starts and not even playing. He's just going to get drafted. This is not what the NFL is these days. Can they look at potential? Sure. But this league is such a what have you done for me lately now? And let me go ahead and say that again. This NFL these days are so much of a what have you done for me lately now. Remember, I've had these
I don't.
conversations, man. I've had these
And
conversations
I
with scouts.
and I want people. I do want people to understand something. Let me make y'all understand something. 110%. If Dylan needed surgery, Dylan would have been shut down during the season. They would have gave him the surgery then because they understand he needed that time to rest to get back to be ready for the season. Second of all, Dylan is a competitor. He loves to compete. It's always been Dylan. He's not a talker. He doesn't have to go to SEC Media Day. He's not. That's just not Dylan. Dylan's not an interviewer. He doesn't like to talk. It's just
No, he's
who
not.
he is. He's been that way his entire life.
Since since we were doing recruiting with him at high school, I mean, it was when he was on campus, during the spring game a couple years ago. It was very minimum, contact communication. And even when after he got to South Carolina, Dylan and I have probably talked more on IG messaging than anything else. Honestly, like as far as verbal, no, it's not
It's
Dylan's
not who
mo,
he
man.
is, man.
That's
It's,
not who
it's
he
not who
is.
he is. But his actions speak. His actions do what he needs to do. The fact of the matter is this. What happened last year was the lack of leadership. I can't emphasize this enough. Lack of leadership was 110% there last year. That is not the case this year. You have Poku, Peak, and Surratt literally going crazy in that offensive line room, and Miller. All those guys are literally leading that offensive line room. Dylan's actions lead, but Kelby Collins is very vocal. Caleb Herring is very vocal. Um, Dindy is very vocal this year. Pipes is very vocal this year. Fred Johnson, Justin O, Sean Murphy, all very vocal. Vakari Swain, all those guys see a chance at something that's never been done here, and literally their eyesight is there.
It is.
The focus is there. Even Lenorse is more vocal than he's ever been in his life. The focus is there. Somebody said something stupid like Vakari Lenorse and Nitro got into it. Dude, dude, I don't know where y'all are getting this dumb stuff from, but it's not happening, folks. This team really is connected and they have a goal in mind. Those cats want the college football playoff. I'm telling you, they want the playoff. They want it bad.
Yeah.
This ain't about winning 8 games. This ain't about winning nothing. They want that college football playoff bad. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to. So this is where we're at with it right now. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 40, 47 days. If you're listening live, the Welcome Up podcast right now, Facebook, YouTube, X. If you're listening to the replay on Spotify and Apple, wherever else you get your podcast from, it is 46 days. So under the 50-day mark. Things are coming up quick, man. Things are coming up quick. I've got some interesting things to really see in the next few weeks to see really what we could possibly look into what the season's gonna potentially add on. Right. I'm interested to see how and what is asked tomorrow during SEC Media Days, and obviously we'll do a recap on Thursday about how all that went. I know a lot of people. I'm thinking the outside world. I'm not thinking really Gamecock fans here, and then some of them are Gamecock fans. I'm thinking of, but we go back to play calling, and we go back to this is the offense that we're expecting. They haven't done this yet since 2024. Like what is to be expected, and when Alabama fans were like looking at us like you really hired Shula as your OC, I'm thinking. I mean, like I said, Shane may get some good out of this. We may get lucky, but also the other part of me was a Carolina Panthers fan that watched the offense for Carolina drastically fall down the tubes. And it happened, unfortunately. The other side of things that I didn't want to happen happened. And NQ, we said it a few times. We made excuses for Shula during the bowl game back against Illinois. We thought, hey, Rocket's not playing. This player's not playing. We thought, hey, maybe this is something to it. Well, Little did we know. Little did we know. So, do I wish we had a little more calls and communication with other, candidates? Yes, absolutely. And people tend to forget this is Shane's only stop he's ever had as an HC. I hate to say it, but he's still learning. He's still learning, and I think he truly did figure this thing out this time with all the P4 hires that he did this offseason, was because once again, this has never happened in South Carolina football history. And I think after the season's over, we will look back at that.
I think the only thing I had an issue with Shane was the special teams hire. I still think Shane didn't thoroughly do what he needed to do special teams wise, in my personal opinion. But I also want to see what this guy is able to do. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, it's just kind of a world because I mean the Buffalo Bills were not the best special teams group at all. So I mean, if I'm being 100% honest,
Let's let's just be real here, Q. You just wanted Pete Limbo to come back.
I did. I'm not gonna sit here and freaking front. Pete Limbo should have been back. I would have personally, if Shane wanted to knock it out the park, this is what I would have done if I was Shane Beamer. All jokes aside, I'd gave Pete Limbo $2 million and said, "Just come coach the
back.
special teams, brother.
Come back. Come back. You're
No
not happy in
stresses of
Buffalo.
no NIL worries. Whatever kicker you want, whatever you want to do, hey man, it is here. It is for you.
No, no stress having to shovel snow off your car every morning in the
It's a
winter time.
fact.
And
It's a
I look,
fact.
I don't understand why anybody would sign up for that. And like I said, I was shocked when Pete said he was going to Buffalo of all places, when he was leaving
He's
South
done a good
Carolina.
job up there. Now let me say that he
Yeah,
has done a good
sure.
job up there. Very good
Yeah,
job up there.
he's been bowl eligible every year he's been there, I believe.
Yeah.
Or at least if not this past year, I know it was before that, the year before that. So I mean, he's done he's done well. He's done well for every coach that has left South Carolina to move something higher. He's
Mm-hmm.
been the best out of all of them at this point.
It's a fact.
So
It's a fact. But yeah, the football team I think is going to do well. I think SC Media Days always talking season. I mean, Will Stein was talking crazy today, but I mean that's what people love. They want to hear it. Games got to get played, and if I'm Shane, that's what I'm letting you know. Games got to get played. No matter how y'all want to put this, games got to get played. And my team is getting geared up, getting ready. Like I said, when I looked at that depth chart, the beauty of that is there's so many offensive linemen on that depth chart. So many offensive linemen. You got bodies. And that's how you're able to get this going. That's how you're
yeah,
able to get right. You got to have bodies. And that's what Shane and them have done a really good job of this offseason. Make sure you have it on not just offensive, but defensive line. That D tackle room looks amazing. That D tackle room looks outstanding. So I'm 110% looking forward to seeing how this continues out with summer workouts and we're getting into fall because I want to say be about probably second week of August. We'll probably see Shane and them gear up and get ready to go for that. So
there's it's a lot of depth this year. Q to wrap this thing up. Back in 2025, South Carolina was picked fifth in the SEC. In 2024, South Carolina was picked 13th in the SEC. Obviously, Lenore Sellers, Dylan Stewart, and they were their first team picks, and then Jalen Kilgore was picked to be on the second team. Not how it ended. 2025, Dylan was on the second team, Kilgore was on the second team, and then Bakari Swain ended up on the third team, which he was not supposed to be on anything at all last year as far as predictions. Hugh, looking into 2026, where do you think South Carolina is ultimately going to be predicted to finish here in the SEC media days after it's all said and done?
probably about between 10 and 12. See between 10 and 12. I mean,
Okay.
there one thing people can't deny is talent that's on the roster, up and down. You have draft picks everywhere. Shout out to my cousin who helped me with my new stuff. I mean, you're seeing the lighting, you're seeing the camera and all that. Shout out to my cousin, and they've just always been rocking with us and doing what they're doing. So shout out to my boys. But he sent me a text today uh, about the Shrine Children East West 1000, which comes out every year. And for Carolina this year, I mean, dude, the list is insane. So you have on this list Vakari Swain, Quay Scott, Judge Collier, Dylan Stewart, Caleb Airing, Tamawa from the one that came from Illinois,
Yep,
Durajai, yeah, Gabriel Brown Lodin, Fred Johnson, Sean Murphy, Emmanuel Poku, who I can't express this enough to y'all. Poku is going to show you why it was so essential that we got him on campus. I cannot wait for you guys to see that. He was roommates with my cousin at ECU. I'm telling you, he is a gamer. But you also had Jakari's Peak, Josiah Thompson, who's coming back to school next year anyways. He's hurt this year. He will not play. Lenore Sellers, Brady Hunt, Nick Harbor, and DJ Black. I'm telling you right now with DJ Black. I'm telling you.
The hype seems real with old DJ Black coming back to South Carolina. I'm going to say that.
That cat is going to pull down some reps, and you're going to see him in games where you're going to be like, okay, this going to mean something. Oh, guess who's on here that I haven't seen this name in a long time? Yannick Smith. Oh, they're from Somerville. Mm-hmm. He plays at SMU now. I didn't know that. That's different. Plays wide receiver for Somerville. Was just at ECU. Now he's at SMU. Yeah,
he was. Yeah, so he transferred over to SMU.
So we do have, like I said, we have a lot of guys that's showing up there, and you guys are going to get to see why that's important. So we have talent on the field. The key to this whole situation is this. You win the games. You ain't got to rush Peak back. You ain't got to rush Stewart back. Kent State is first game, Townsend second game. If those cats are suited up and ready to go by game 3 against Mississippi State, we are on track and ready to go. If they don't play those first 2 games, it's okay. If they do play, it's great. It doesn't matter, guys. They're going to be here to play for this season. I'm letting you guys know they're going to play this season. So let's see how it plays out, y'all.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. I think we're going to see a lot of good stuff this year. Talent we've never seen on these levels at South Carolina. So I'm really, really excited. Cuba, you picked 10 through 12. I'm going to go. Honestly, I could see 8 or 9. I could see 8 or 9. That's where I'm going to go with. I say 9. That's where I'm going to end up at. So just under 10. But I would not be shocked for South Carolina to be predicted, finish lower than that. Or, not really higher, just considering the season we had last year. So
we got to prove it. Everybody wants us to prove it. Everybody wants us to prove it right now.
It is.
And it's fair. It's year 6 for Shane. It is what it is, but I think everybody's in a prove it stage, and we have the opportunity to do that. That's what he has the opportunity to do. Let's see if he's able to do it.
Yeah, and Shane knows what needs to be done. He knows where he's at. He knows what needs to happen. So, I think we're going to be all right. So
I agree with you.
Obviously, Thursday we'll do a recap SEC Media Days, how all that goes. Like I said, they're in Tampa.
Predictions will be out then, too. Predictions will be out then, all that.
Yeah, predictions will be out, so we'll have a better idea where things are at once the media concludes on Thursday over in there in Tampa. So, QB, you have anything else before we wrap it up, my guy?
That's it, man. Y'all stay tuned. Like I said, we're back. We're trying to get back consistent. We'll be ready to go. So just stay tuned with us, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Q, before we do wrap this thing up, I did want to talk about just real quick. Obviously, I was in Dallas for work, and it's funny how small the world is, even when you're in a place like Dallas, Texas. On my way back, there's a little story real quick, but on my way back to the airport from the hotel to Sheridan, my Uber driver was none other than Willie that played for the Tennessee Vols back in the early 2000s. Safety. How do you figure, right? And
that's crazy.
What was incredible is that this guy actually knew about South Carolina. He's like, yeah, I'm originally from Dallas, but I played for the Vols. And he started talking about Lenore. He started talking about Nick. Like, he started name dropping too. That's what really got me up. I'm like, man, like, this guy knows his stuff. And then I asked, I said, let me ask you this. How do you know South Carolina? He's like, I played for Tennessee. I was like, man. Well, what are the odds?
And another clip I saw recently was Jordan Travis Jordan Travis was talking a lot about Lenoir, and he feels like Gamecocks are, one of those that are just underdogs right now. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, we will. Well, guys, we appreciate y'all tuning into the Welcome On Podcast on live on Facebook, YouTube, X, all those good places there. Appreciate y'all tuning into the Welcome On Podcast, where you can catch every show on the old Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your show. Anything else that you can, man. Review the show. You can review the show down there. Obviously, we're looking for that to continue to grow. That's the only way that we do grow. So if you can, leave a review there. We always do appreciate it. But guys, we will see you next time.
Peace.